John P. Service was an able seaman, performing standard physical labor aboard a commercial shipping vessel. On December 20, 2012, his vessel was caught in bad weather. During a lifeboat drill on the high seas, towering waves battered the ship, and Service severely injured his left leg. The injury did not resolve with onboard rest. When the ship finally docked in Ecuador, doctors diagnosed him with a fibular diaphragm fracture. His leg was cast in plaster, and medical staff ordered his immediate repatriation to the Philippines. Following a lengthy legal process back home, both the National Labor Relations Commission and the Court of Appeals ruled in Service's favor. They awarded him $60,000 in permanent total disability benefits. Then, the Supreme Court of the Philippines reviewed the case and completely reversed those lower court decisions, wiping out the $60,000 entitlement entirely. The Supreme Court did not dispute the facts of the injury. They agreed that Service suffered a severe broken leg and that the accident occurred squarely in the line of duty. The lower courts had granted the award based on a straightforward observation. Service's broken leg prevented him from returning to his usual work as a seafarer for more than 120 days. The medical reality of the fracture was settled. Instead, the final judgment turned on the specific, day-by-day procedural requirements of the contract Service signed before boarding his ship. To understand the ruling, we have to look at the absolute governing law for Filipino maritime workers, the POEA Standard Employment Contract, or POEA-SEC. The POEA-SEC is a bilateral agreement that imposes rigid, reciprocal duties on both the employer and the employee following a workplace injury. The employer's duty is clear-cut. They must provide a company-designated physician to manage the seafarer's treatment and ultimately issue a definitive assessment of the seafarer's disability grading. In return, the employee has an equally strict obligation. The seafarer must report for medical treatment religiously and continuously until the company doctor issues that final assessment. If the employer fails to provide the physician or the final assessment, the law automatically penalizes the company by granting the seafarer total and permanent disability benefits. In maritime disability claims, the physical reality of a broken bone takes a back seat to the rule of law. The chronological timeline of these reciprocal duties dictates who wins and who loses. This flowchart maps the POEESEC timeline. Day 0 begins at repatriation, triggering a strict 120-day window for a final assessment. Failing this assessment without justification means automatic permanent disability. If further medical attention is required, the timeline expands to 240 days. The employer bears the burden of proof here. To avoid an automatic payout at day 121, the company must prove that the doctor had sufficient medical justification to require more time. That extension is the absolute limit. If the full 240 days expire and the company physician still hasn't issued a final disability assessment, the seafarer's condition becomes permanent and total, regardless of any justification. Throughout either of these procedural windows, the seafarer is officially classified as being on temporary total disability and continues to receive their basic wages. The law guarantees the employer a protected window of either 120 or 240 days to diagnose, treat, and resolve the medical ambiguity. Interrupting this window breaks the legal chain required to claim compensation. Day 0 is his January 23rd repatriation. The physician confirms the fracture on January 28. On April 15th, declaring him unfit, the doctor schedules a follow-up for May 20. Instead, Service files his lawsuit on May 2. The exact duration before the lawsuit, 99 days. The Supreme Court applied a simple mathematical deduction. 99 days is well within the 120-day protected window guaranteed to the employer. By initiating a lawsuit on day 99, Service denied the company physician the legal right to finish the assessment. Filing a claim before this 120-day clock expires is considered a premature action, which stripped him of his legal standing to demand the $60,000. Service offered a defense for skipping his May 20 appointment. He lived in the province of Acon, while his assigned treatment center was in Manila. He argued that continuous travel back and forth had become a severe financial burden. The Supreme Court agreed that financial incapacity to travel is a valid excuse for missing checkups. However, they ruled that mere allegations of poverty are insufficient. The seafarer must provide clear and convincing evidence of that burden. This evidentiary standard is crucial because of POEA SEC Section 20D, which covers medical abandonment. If a seafarer willfully breaches their duty to complete medical treatment, they forfeit their right to claim any disability benefits. We can see exactly why Servas's financial defense failed by looking at this side-by-side comparison. The very same contract that outlines medical abandonment also contains Section 20A3, which explicitly states that the employer is required to pay for the seafarer's actual traveling expenses and accommodation during outpatient treatment. The record showed that Servas never submitted receipts, never requested travel reimbursement from the company, and was therefore never denied funding for his transportation to Manila. Because he failed to utilize the specific contractual mechanism designed to fund his travel, his absence lacked legal justification. He triggered the medical abandonment clause, destroying his own claim. Servas forfeited his statutory entitlement to the $60,000 disability payout. By walking away on day 99, he broke the reciprocal contract before the company's deadline expired. But the Supreme Court recognized the physical reality of his broken leg. While they ruled against him on strict legal grounds, they certainly did not leave him empty-handed. Looking at this ledger of the final judgment, the court struck down the massive statutory claim on the left, but on the right, they awarded Servas 200,000 Philippine pesos, about $4,000, in what is called financial assistance. The court granted this smaller amount as an equitable concession, offering a measure of social and compassionate justice to an employee who undoubtedly suffered a severe workplace injury. The legal mechanics are rigid for a reason. While courts may step in with equitable concessions out of compassion, securing a multi-million peso disability award relies entirely on strict compliance with the 120-day procedural clock.